Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, good evening. Kem Cho Gujarat. A very warm welcome from Women with Wings to all of you. My name is Shefali and I am the proud founder of Women with Wings. Women with Wings is a platform which talks about women, which talks about collaboration, which talks about women coming together and helping each other, supporting each other. It is a platform which tells about, hey, you are not alone. Hey, you are moving in the right direction. We are there for you. The beauty of this platform is we all are volunteers here. We all are doing selfless work and we all are standing for each other. And today I'm very happy to announce that we have a roundtable conference with the West chapter. And let me tell you, the team of West chapter is doing a flawless work. Somebody, if you see that somebody who is taking an off from office and so passionate about bringing speakers doing the entire show, how much passionate and love she has in and how much committed she is towards the cause. And that is what is about our vesting about. Somebody sitting in the office and taking the session that, hey, the session should go flawless. There should not be any disturbance from the family side or internet side. That itself speaks about the passion. I don't think that I need to mention anything about the team or about the platform or anything. So we have the proud moderator for the day, Ruchi. Ruchi Agarwal, she is the HR head, plant head of Munjal Auto Industries. She is a passionate HR leader, a very down-to-earth person, a fitness freak, a coach, and selflessly working for the community. And she stands strong with Women with Wings. She has been supportive since the day she has joined. Thank you so much, Ruchi. Let me acknowledge it openly at the platform. And besides this, we have a flawless team working at the back end who is managing the backstage, making the sessions live, ensuring that the speakers are at the comfort factor. So our best zone includes of Aditi Kulkarni and Khyati Mistry also. And I think today Aditi Kulkarni is at the backstage. So thank you so much, Aditi. I express my immense gratitude towards both of you. Coming to the topic of the day, we are having a roundtable conference and eminent speakers and personalities from Gujarat and around areas, whom you will get to know from Ruchi. We all have been doing a lot in this pandemic. For a lot of us, it has been an opportunity, and for a lot of us, it has been uh, challenges were there. But yes, as we women learn from our childhood, it is imbibed in us that you know. बढ़ते चलो आगे करते चलो आगे रुकना नहीं है कभी, and that is what we women are doing, and that is the roundtable conference about that these eminent speakers will be sharing their experiences about pandemic and opportunity on leadership and empowerment. Yes, I strongly believe in this topic, in this subject, that pandemic has been an opportunity for a lot of us. Many of us, we have come forward. Whatever situations came to our, in our journey, whatever barriers came, whatever challenges came, we have overcome all that, and we have emerged as strong leaders and empowered leaders. Thank you so much, Ruchi, for giving me this opportunity to open this session. The platform is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Shefali, for a wonderful introduction and a warm welcome to all our viewers and our speakers. I take this opportunity to moderate yet another session of the West chapter with three illustrative women leaders from diverse background, Ms. Geeta Goradia, Ms. Shilpa Awasthi, and Ms. Kunjal Sinha. As said, men support men, and so women supports. So with Women with Wings, we are women supporting women. That makes us special. Today's topic is pandemic, an opportunity or challenge for leadership and empowerment. We all have witnessed this pandemic for the last 1.5 years and have seen our own challenges and opportunities. The most concerned topic of the industry and even in the personal life is always leadership skill that goes with empowerment. So when we talk about leadership, what is leadership? People have been talking and giving different definition to it. Warren Bennett says leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Bill Gates says, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. I strongly feel leadership is not only to translate vision into reality, but to develop more leaders. Empowerment refers to the delegation of some authority and responsibility to anyone and involving them in decision-making process, not in mere job activities, but rather at all the levels. Leaders become great not because of their powers, but because of their ability to empower others. Taking it forward, let me take the opportunity to quickly introduce our speaker of the day. So our first speaker is Ms. Geeta Kuraria. इनके बारे में जितना भी बोला जाए शायद कम होगा. She is former president of the Federation of Gujarat Industries, the first lady president in 92 years since its inception in 1918. Hailing from illustrious family of Mahatma Gandhi, she did her MBA honors in industrial economy and law from MEMS University, Vadodara. She is a successful entrepreneur and presently managing director of Jewel Consumer Care at Vadodara. She is also a director of Pioneer Furnace Private Limited, Vidyanagar. She is an independent director of Panasonic Energy India Company Limited at Vadodara, Transpec Industries, Gujarat Se Fertilizer and Chemicals. Uh, She's also an national award winner for Best Performing Female Entrepreneur in Plastic at Plasticon Awards in 2018. Certificate of Excellence as a Woman Entrepreneur on the Woman Entrepreneur in 2017, and so the list goes on. Our second speaker is Dr. Kunjal Sinha. She is a passionate educationist and believes in development of students and career. Currently, she is associated as Director of Continuing Education Program with Parul University. She has over 17 years of rich experience in academics and research. She possesses bachelor's, master, and doctorate degree in management from Sardar Patel University. She is focused on creating short and medium-term courses oriented towards strengthening and fast-tracking students' and professionals' career. Her areas of interest are digital marketing, advertising and promotion, consumer behavior, and service marketing. Our third speaker is Ms. Shilpa Avasthi. She is a GM HR with Reliance Entertainment and a life coach, a certified desk analyst and extended DIX, Finland and Hay Group certified job analyst. Her passion is handling end-to-end HR functions. Also, she has run 2 Mumbai marathons and 1 Sitara Hill marathon. So I open this session with Ms. Shilpa on sharing her personal challenges and learnings during this pandemic.
Thank you, Ruchi, for the wonderful introduction. A very good evening to the fellow panelists, Geeta ma'am and Kuljan Sinha, and all our viewers. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you, your West Women with Wing chapter, to have organized this for us. Coming to your question, Ruchi, women with, the pandemic has put in a lot of challenge to us working women. And I also, along with many other women colleagues, face the challenges that all of us, and the biggest being working from home. Um, I am a young mother of two toddlers. So I have a son, 3.5, and a daughter 2 years old. And now having said this, you can understand the amount of challenges. Also, the position of an HR, a GM HR for an organization, and managing the both brought in a huge amount of challenges for me at the breakthrough of the pandemic. Committed to your work, collaborating, coordinating, and communicating, various things, various aspects call a lot of work, on my shoulders. And while doing that, having to manage two toddlers, your parents and your spouse had been the biggest challenge. Being perfectionist, household, we are all settled and we know our responsibilities back in office, so we have management at home. But if you remember, in the first wave, even the domestic support was not there for us. And for the first time in 3 years, my kids saw mama being home all the time, so they would only cling on to me. That just added and kept adding to the chaos and challenge of attending to them. Also, same time, you have the responsibility of attending to organizational needs, wherein you have to look over and above and beyond your own requirements and cater to the needs of your colleagues who are also going through the same challenge. And in all of this, to provide a solution to them. So we deliberate and we say that, your challenge bring out the best in you and bring solutions. So all these in-house challenges taught me and created an understanding that my fellow colleagues, be it women or men, are going through the same challenges, and created a mindset of care. A caregiving mindset is what cropped up, which then I took back to the management, and we devised policies around it, how not to have non-disturbing hours for all our employees, how to be more planned, and how to do things in a better manner, so that the similar challenges which are being faced by everyone else are at least managed well. So this is, Ruchi, something that I really dealt with.
So nicely put in by Shilpa. So care, I mean, I really picked up this point. Care mindset, we all have really developed this. So I would go to Geeta ma'am to share her challenges and her learnings during this pandemic.
Well, at my age, I have grandchildren who are also, 11, 12, and 8 and 9. So, well, yes, one of the challenges was, that learning from home, the virtual learning. Since handling a factory, which is with 1,000 workers, the biggest challenge was, that we work with multinationals. And multinationals are not going to listen to any delays for that matter. And we have a contract that if you delay in deliveries, you have to air freight the material, and which would be a huge cost. So we had to run our factory come what may. Fortunately, we make oral care products which come under essentials. So one of the first job which was getting the permission from the collector that ours is an essential product. So we had to prove that and get the permission from the collector. Once we got the permission from the collector, it was a marathon task for us to explain to our employees that you could come to work. For them, because of the lockdown, there was absolutely no transportation available. There were no buses running, there were no rickshaws running, nor could they travel, two on a motorbike. And the police would stop them. So I think that the whole gamut of ensuring that the workers come to the factory to for production processes was a very big job. So we thought of certain innovative things, and one of the things that we thought was, how do you get them to work? So we decided to have about 8-10 buses, and we had pickup points. We rang up every worker. We have about 300 women workers, and we told them that you would be absolutely safe coming to work, and that the food would be provided to you and the transportation would be provided to you. And you'd be surprised, still it took them a couple of days, but they started joining in one by one. And the best part is that we could sort of run our production and process, as well as we could dispatch. However, then came the issue, you normally would have stocks for, let's say, a week when you work, in terms of just-in-time inventory. You would have, materials for a week or two at the most. A time came when the supply chain became a big issue.
Till the time she joins, or the speakers.
So I'm putting a question to Kunjal, Dr. Kunjal. Okay, so my question to, since she belongs to an education background, to Dr. Kunjal, that how do you think that we are ready and we are ready to leverage the leadership competencies that would then go to corporate spaces?
So Ruchi, as far as my sector or industry is concerned, which is education, the government of India did came out with the online portal. We had Swayam, since quite some time with us. We have some A-rated universities in India who were also on certain courses were also on online platforms. but as far as leveraging the potential of the employees and the leaders was concerned, not really, because most of the universities and higher education institutions, including and schools, they were not really ready immediately to go on online platforms, understand how to really perform online assessments and examinations, what all tools and techniques are available to teach online. So what kind of pedagogy you really use to make your online classes interesting, how to create an online platform material, how do you deal with the LMS, the learning management system you have. All these things which I've just listed down, shared with you, was actually a big question mark. Those universities who were able to then train their employees immediately were able to do quite a bit of job. Proudly telling that we are one of them. March last week we were having pandemic. April last week we were ready with in 1 month of time, with the online assessment portal, World Assessment Council, WAC, we call it, procuring it, number one, training the technical staff of the university to use the platform, number two. Number three, training the faculty members to draw papers and understanding as to how to assign papers to the students and how to take exam. Number three. Number four, training the students as to how to give exam on that platform, because it is a proctored platform, right? So if two times if you're caught doing something, it can catch your eye movements, it can catch the sound level. So two times if you're caught in the violations, then automatically the system will not allow you to give exam. So it's not a normal portal, it is a proctored portal. So training 25,000 students across university to actually give examination on that portal was also a humongous task. So leveraging, no, we were not ready, to be very frank. If I talk about my university, so there is no question of leveraging the talent or leveraging the skills and potentials which people had, or the employees and the staff members had. It was to actually train them. But yes, we are very proud that we were able to do in a very short span of time. So in a month of 30 days of time, right from the procurement to the training of technical staff, faculty members, and there are 2,000 faculty members across university and 25,000 students across university, training them, taking examination, and declaring the results right in the month of May, was something which we thought that it was a good achievement. So now this has taught us that as an educational or higher educational level university, we really need to think about future and be ready now, train our staff, teachers, professors in such a way that they are digitally equipped with everything, so that even if it continues, probably I don't think so now we will have any such problem. So
That's really great to hear that we are future ready for leveraging the skills to the people around us. And I go to Geeta ma'am with the question that what measures can we take to this kind of impact of pandemic on women? What kind of a support is required for women to come into the mainstream, since she deals with women at all levels, from worker to the leadership level? And you're on mute. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear now? Yeah, is it
Yeah.
fine?
Yes. Yes.
So, let me just give you an example of a niece of mine who lives in Bangalore. She's an architect. She has recently been inducted on an acceleration program for women entrepreneurs. And what she told me is that there are several programs which have come up ever since, and women entrepreneurs are being supported in all ways, whether it be in terms of knowledge, be in terms of funding, the running businesses, or startup businesses. And I think women are helping women. That's a great thing to learn about, because it says women have formed groups, to help each other. And he says there are so many such programs. It's not just, he says, what she's on 2-3 programs already. And I think this is a very positive thing which has come out of pandemic, and that women helping women to grow, to women helping women to see that they get help in terms of knowledge, marketing, funds, fundraising. And I think that's a very good thing. Number two, I think women have also learned, that it is going to be the uncertain world. And, with what we call as the VUCA world, we all live in a VUCA world, and VUCA is all about being, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. So I think each of them, I think the women have today learned to recognize the VUCA world and accept the challenge. And I think pandemic has definitely taught this to women leaders also, because none of them, everyone had to go through a very painful time being a woman. Not just balancing full-time work, and looking at the caregiving at home, the household work, and financially supporting, wherever the women were the bread earners. So, and women learned, I think this is something which also the programs have taught them, that prepare for today and tomorrow at the same time. You can't. So disruption is going to be your friend. And disruption, what pandemic has created, is something which is unheard of, and unprecedented disruption in their lives, in their livelihoods, in their so this is what the pandemic has taught them. And also to be a super visible leader, because we need to communicate at all times, with everyone across the, different levels of, in your organizations, So what really mattered is, that women have learned in pandemic times, to hold themselves so well. And I think they have also been able to, sort of know that, I mean, honestly believe that the glass ceiling is only a perception. And women with talent, grit and determination, conviction, laser-like focus, hard work, can, chip away at this glass ceiling slowly and steadily. And I think this is a very great thing, because I've seen so many women doing so well. They're working from home, they're looking after their parents, they're looking after their children, they're doing the household work, and they've been able to do it because I think they're anyway multitasking, and I always say that women have to work twice as much as men to prove their mettle, and they've done it. So I think, well, this is what I have to say, Ruchi.
This was very insightful, ma'am, and it is a great learning that women is standing for women, and we have come a long way, and we have learned a lot of lessons of our own selves, and different kind of a flexibility into each woman that we see, and we are now looking towards the another woman with an empathy and a caring emotions. I move to Shilpa to know, like, what are the competencies as a leader needs to develop to handle crises like these in the pandemics?
Um, see, pandemic has brought in, like we have earlier spoken, various challenges. We are also continuously looking out for traits. There is a different need altogether. Everyone needs to come out of it. So few people look up to few people to say that, okay, how are we supposed to do things around and about. And such people, we say in corporate world, are the leaders, who can cut the clutter, think before the others can, devise a roadmap for you and take you along, leading from the front. um, Basically, and you also said a few definitions in the beginning of our session about leadership. And I remember one definition by John Cotters, and that is, leadership is the ability to drive useful change. And from here, I would say that the very, very important aspects of traits of leaders who will see us through the pandemic are: number one, courage, and being able to act without all the facts and figures in place. And like Geeta ma'am said, we are in a VUCA world, and pandemic has only added to the VUCA situation, where we don't know how long the pandemic will be, what is the next thing on in store for us, what will be the government guidelines, rules, regulations, nothing at all. And the leader is supposed to walk the path in this scenario, and to be able to chalk out plans and give roadmap to the people, to not only, like in Geeta ma'am's and in Dr. Kunjal's case, to deliver. So they have to produce and they have to export. In Kunjal's case, they have to deliver the program, because there are thousands of people waiting for those as inputs to generate something else and keep the momentum or the economy going in some way. How leaders need to do it internally is by empathy. And like again I said, the new and crucial words in our leadership competency scorecard which are rising high are resilience, empathy, and a care mindset. So feelings, understanding the feelings of the vendors, the suppliers, the customers, and all stakeholders. If Geeta ma'am's vendors would have been arrogant and stuck onto the situation, she might not have got the materials ever. So understanding the other person's situation, and far more importantly in today's time, the leaders must acknowledge that breadth and ability to see a bigger picture while you cannot see anything around at the beginning. So we don't know, for coming back to our business, we don't know when the theaters will open up. We don't know when our two biggest projects will see the light of the theaters and will bring us the money. But um, but we know that we have an inventory, and how we can utilize or resell or reskill inventory on other platforms. There were leaders in Dr. Kunjal in education field, who thought of bringing offline to online. So such is the leadership trait that is the requirement of the hour. And very important, what gives that a boost is rapid communication and carrying your team along. So this is not only one to one communication with your team, but you need to heavily communicate with your team members, keep them together, keep them, give, always state their, and let them know of the bigger picture. And to continuously have communication, because they not only need to know what we are doing internally, they also need to know, because the pandemic is bringing in a situation wherein what will happen tomorrow, who may fall sick and pray to COVID, we don't know. So everyone needs to be very, very well informed of what the other person is doing, ever before than ever. um, and leaders must be able to build psychological safety for people to thrive under pressure. See, when we are in our corporates talking a lot about mental well-being, and this is because we have all been used to working under perfect situations. We don't like glitches. We don't like we do not like laissez faire. We do not like situations to go out of control. But here we are in a situation where nothing, what happens tomorrow is nobody's aware of. So to have empathy and to create that psychological safety in employees mind, that no matter what happens to you tomorrow, in case you are not well or your family needs your attention more, we are there to support you, and we will understand your situation. From a corporate perspective, to create that psychological safety is very important. And each of us has a leader within us. this is the time to look within and unleash the leader, to say that yes, I have the resilience and I will rise up to the situation to support not only my immediate family but my organization, who is my extended family.
That was really very rightly put the things, especially the three leadership competencies like care, empathy, and resilience that we really need to have. And there was a question which you've already answered into it, that we need to unleash our leadership qualities, and we see that women have really done it so well. I go to my next question is to Dr. Kunjal, that how important is it to have healthy communication with employees during this pandemic? Because since you have been dealing with at a different level, and to reach out to the students and to ensure that the right communication goes. So, what were the challenges that you faced, and how did you really came across that?
So the challenges were numerous, because when we talk about education, it's not only the students who are studying with your university is involved in the process, but it's also their parents who are involved in the entire process, right? So the entire communication which needs to be done is not only to the students, but also to the the parents of the students. And being a university, uh, you know being a diverse university, I mean, we have representation of the candidates across pan India, number one, and we also have international candidates staying in our campus. We've more than 1,500 international candidates in campus. So, when we talk about communicating in the right way, in the healthier way, to the candidates, several measures were taken step by step, so that we make sure that the students also understand the entire change nicely. Parents also understand the change very nicely. There was a phase wherein the government opened up the education sector. Government allowed the higher educational institutions to invite students back in campus. It was a huge challenge for university, because parents were not really willing to send their you know they are all higher education students. They're not kids, but then still there was a huge challenge, because somebody has to come from south. I mean, obviously the parent is going to think, why am I sending my daughter or son so far, because I'm not knowing what is going to happen after a month or 2 months. So that was one level of communication, and you will not believe, each faculty was involved in the entire process. There was a system which was devised and designed, so that each student gets a call from the faculty member, makes the student understand about various measures which the university has taken in terms of safety. We also have a hospital, so there were certain measures and guidelines which were communicated to them, as what all facilities, if at all by any chance, if the student is able to or is catching the virus, what all measures university is going to take to make sure that the student is going to be fine. One more big challenge was those international students who were in campus, because they were already in campus. There were no flights working. They had to stay back in campus, and a huge communication which was done again, not only to the students who are staying here, but with also their parents back there in international countries, uh, giving them that surety that their kids, their wards are actually safe here. Setting up a system of counseling is also one thing. We've also set up an online portal named Your Dost. Now, Your Dost is a concept where any student really wants help in terms of psychology. They are staying here alone. They don't have their parents if they're in campus. Those students who really want to come back, but then they're not really aware about the safety. Those students, when the university was open and when they were here in campus. Again, we, faced the second wave, and slowly and gradually they had to, go back again, arranging the transport facility for the students. We have arranged transport facility even for our international students in case, they were wanting to go back. So, these were the challenges, but I guess, uh, a good streamlined guidelines and processes basically helped us to come out of it, and this platform of Your Dost really helped the university a lot, because we have counselors who counsel the students. We also have clinical psychologists who are there for the students in case the student really needs any advanced, level of help. So these were few measures which were taken by university to ensure that the entire, both the transition, students coming here in campus back after the first wave, and students going back home when second wave came. So both the transitions are dealt with in a smooth manner. There were measures which were taken related to that.
But that was a really a commendable job that Parul University has done, and taking care of the student and ensuring that the parents also feel safe is something everybody would really appreciate. And then you have this website portal where Your Dost. So I think that you people have just listening towards this, it tells us what kind of a difficult task that you people must have gone through. So Shilpa, so there's another question for you. Is that you have two toddlers, right? So how did you really ensure a work-life balance between all this pandemic situation? Because one way is the office, the other way is your kids, your home, your parents, and everything. So what was that one thing that you could actually that really helped you to maintain the whole balance into your life?
If you ask this very interesting question, and my one word answer to this is acceptance. Accepting
Perfect.
imperfection. So
That's a
as
great thing.
so the first thing that I accepted personally for myself was that it's not important anymore to be perfect. If I'm able to deliver and able to accomplish tasks, it's fine. It's not the time to run after perfection and say that everything is flawless. So acceptance of imperfection helped me achieve a sort of work life balance. We did face situations where there was less work for every one of us given the industry situation. However, workload at home increased. So in one manner it did balance work life, because now workload is lesser but the personal life work is increased. But I did not get overwhelmed with less work, and this was communicated nicely professionally by our management team, our seniors and management, that it is okay while we all go through this journey to have these ups and downs of lesser workload from the organization, while you take a seat back and support people back at home who need more and more attention. So my mantra was accepting the imperfections and accepting the fact of life that it is important. um, if if I'm not getting calls at these hours of time, if people are not calling me, it is absolutely okay. If there is less work today, if there are lesser Zoom meetings today, it's perfectly fine. If there is a need, there will be meetings and there will be situations where we will be called in for this acceptance. And this acceptance in all our management team members were then returned back to the organization, saying that uh, have time for your immediate family, have time for people in need around you, have time and attend. If you are not well, health comes first. Attend to your own self, attend to people in your family. In the second wave, we did get a lot of people whose direct family members and near about people were facing did get affected by COVID. So especially then, we went back to them and said that it's all right, it's absolutely fine, and they should not panic and say that now they are little less valued in the organization because they are little less contributing. So we realized first, I
That
accepted.
is very well said, and especially the acceptance. So I think this message from you goes to our all the viewers that we, and especially women viewers, that let's accept the imperfections between with us. So I would request Geeta, Pam, what do you have any message for our viewers on the today's session?
Uh, Ruchi, can you accept me on the computer? I can come on to that. They're not your backstage person. I've been trying
And
to send a message.
just a minute. I think, ma'am, this is the only, you're already in. So,
Okay,
and
okay, fine,
yeah,
fine.
you can just
I'm
go ahead. Yeah.
okay. I think the message for women that I have is that be a student always. Well, it's very easy to get frozen on the learning curve, but to stay relevant in the competitive world, and one should be conversant with whatever happens around you. And I think, otherwise, you would lose the important trait of career resilience. So accept the world as it comes, accept the disruption as it comes, and try and adapt it in a way where you sort of don't upset yourself, do not upset the family around, do not upset children. And I think that is the way to go, because and as I think Shilpa very rightly said, that I'm also a person who believe in perfection and excellence, and there are times when you have to let go that, because first comes caring and sharing, with people around you, making sure that you help them in their trying times. Also, what is important is that when uh, when someone is going through trying times, you forget that perfection, you forget that excellence, but you try and see, that they you look after them, in that, in those times, So, and very important is, I think we should all not fear, should not worry, and should be very enthusiastic about our work. Continue to remain enthused about our work, because that gives you purpose and direction in life, So don't get upset, don't get panicky about things, and health comes first. I think people, the kind of savings, that they had, and they've lost all their savings, the kind of we all know, Provident Fund is a great saving for all the employees, and they have completely withdrawn their savings, to look after their health. So I think, we have given lessons to our staff and our workers to look after themselves, which is most important, to look after the kids, which is very important, to eat nutritive food, which is so important, so that they build their immunity. I think this is a time that women leaders, women have to ensure that people around them also, women as leaders have to ensure that people around them look after themselves, and look after their health. And also very important is, that I think people have learned not to waste money. I think people have learned how to, ensure, that the money is spent in the right direction, in the right way. So I think, yes, this is something which,
Thank,
and I
thank
would
you very
also
much.
say that, keep communicating with everyone, because communication is extremely important in such times. To be courageous, to be consistent, to be ethical. I think these are very important lifetime lessons which all of us have learned.
Yeah, that's absolutely very well said by Geeta ma'am. And quickly, Dr. Kunjal, I would like to know your uh, views that, a message, a single line of message for our viewers.
So we had this comment here, completely work from home, a hybrid, or
So,
completely
Ruchi,
physical.
can I?
Yes, Geeta ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ruchi, one thing that I think we also learned is, which is something which is very technical, but I would like to mention this. Any time when a machine arrived, a new machine arrived in the company, we would have an imported machine. We would have, engineers coming from Germany, from Belgium to commission the machines. One thing that we learned is to online commission machines. Imagine the kind of money that companies have saved. Because the engineers couldn't make it. We had to launch a product. We had the machine which was already there in the customs. We cleared it. We got it here. Now, we did not know how to commission this new machine because this was the first time we were bringing in this technology. So the only way we could do is, and this was a big risk that we took, because had we not, and our people worked, imagine Germany has a different time. I mean, there's a time lag between us and Germany. So our people worked till 2 and 3 in the night, to, ensure, that they commission the machine. And it took them a very long time. Normally, a machine could be commissioned in 3 and 4 days. It took them 2 weeks to do it, 3 weeks to do it. But I think this was a great learning for a lot of industries, that you could do it without having engineers on the shop floor.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have learned this, that how we can do our jobs by our own self by the online method. So over to you, Kunjal, you were saying so. Please continue.
So I think out of the three options given, in the comment, my choice would be hybrid model. Yeah, and most of the MNCs, they have already announced it. I remember what TCS announced few months back is that they are going to have 75% of their workforce work from home, and only 25% of the workforce will work from office. And this is their next 5 years plan. So I think, yes, the hybrid models will work more. And last line, keep learning, keep growing. Um, that's what we all really need to do. Yeah.
So we end our very insightful session, and it was really very great to learn from the leaders about leadership, as well about adaptability, learning about adaptability. And thank you very much for giving your precious time to us. So we end up here. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, Ruchi. Sorry for
Ruchi,
this
and
Absolutely okay,
interruption.
ma'am. This is absolutely okay.
Yeah.
thank you.